Hello YouTube, this is Rob. I'm gonna try to do a Sub 65 Inferno commentary because I had that idea and I actually had that idea for a while and wanted to try it out, see if I can't help someone out here. And this is my inventory I'm going in with. Actually, I think I'll bring 4 brews just to show how you do it if you actually were getting your first Sub 65. I got amethyst stars, amethyst arrows, just to show what I usually do. Because I mean, you can use dragon obviously if you're a main, you want to be doing that, but just to show amethyst isn't really much worse if you want to do that. Yeah, so here's the inventory setup: 3 divines, 1 regular bastion, very important. Need to always be potted. 1 stamina. Some people bring 2, but I don't really find it necessary unless you're bringing chins. I think when you start bringing chins, it's pretty good, but before that, it's not really necessary. And then if you have a Falador shield, you want to bring that. I don't have it. I used mine already today, so I can't use it, but basically this is the inventory you want. Very highly recommend the devouts. I think they're pretty OP. Pegasians are a very slight time save. Probably not worth it if you're going for your first sub 65. Crystal Shield, really good. Lightbearer, that's my personal favorite ring, but there's other options. You can use Suffering or Ring of the Gods. I don't even have a Ring of the Gods in this account, but I hear a lot of people recommend it. It's probably just as good. But I like the Lightbearer, you'll see why pretty much. And yeah, I guess without further ado, I'll pre-pack and get in here. Yep, I have the one way, well not the one way, but I have the ancestral top, not the bottoms. You can take the bottoms if you have a spot, but I'm just playing conservative here, just being safe. And obviously, if you're not trying to save restores, you can bring restores instead of prayer potions, give you a little bit of extra prayer points. I think it's like 1 extra point per dose. Pretty useful, but I'm pretty confident I'll be good with this, so it's gonna go in here now. Yeah, I'm just gonna do this completely uncut. I think I don't know how it's gonna go actually, but well, I guess we'll see. And alright, so the first thing, I'm gonna drop a potion so I can get rid of my shield. It's just gonna make swapping in the early waves a lot easier. And you want to set your quick prayers to range and rigor. And you can always start at the regular start tile here until wave 50. And your main goal in these early waves is just to not miss any ticks. So just always be attacking something. You want to do a barrage, and then you want to equip your blowpipe and look for stuff to hit. If you have Lightbearer, you can just kind of spam specs for the most part in the early waves. So, good idea to blood barrage these. It gives you extra health if you are low on health, and also allows the nibblers to stay clumped up, which saves a little bit of time. On these early waves, you can kind of tend to start near the middle like I'm doing, but if you feel uncomfortable at any point, you can always start on the regular start tile. It's not a big deal. Here you can just run up to this. I'm going to try not to do any crazy techs here. I'm going to try to just keep it simple. Augury or no augury on the little mini blobs isn't a huge deal. If you're going for your first sub 65, you can kind of just... Sometimes I prefer not to, just to save some prayer. It's not a huge increase in accuracy. Didn't actually want to get drained by that bat, so it might have been better to tank the blob hit there, but it's okay. I'll do a little augury flicking on these, why not? Just keep killing stuff, just keep killing stuff. Never want to stop killing stuff. You'll have some leeway if you just keep killing stuff. I like to pray mage just so that after the blob sees me, I can pray range against the bats here. Here, I don't know if the bats are on or off tick with the blob, so I'm just going to kill the bats and tank the blob for a second. And I also can do that because of the Lightbearer, giving me a little extra health back if I need it. Here you want to just run up to the blob, run up next to the blob. Even if it melees you, not a big deal. Usually it won't hit, but if it does, you can just blood barrage. I'm gonna barrage again. This is double blob. So here you just flick both the blobs. Starting in the middle is actually kind of nice for this, because you get to flick both the blobs. Because they're both synced up. Not really sure what even happened there, but you wanna flick against the blob unlike what I did. Blood Barrage gives you a lot of leeway on your health, so you don't have to worry too much. Good. Alright, this is another nib wave. Gonna Blood Barrage and then Ice Barrage, probably. Blood Barrage, they stay clumped up. I don't even know which one's alive, it's fine. I like to turn melee on my quick barrier just to make it a little easy. Melee waves, pretty easy. So here, I mean, little tiny tip, you want to kill the Nibbler last because the melee has a very long death animation. It's not a huge deal, and especially if you're going for your first sub 65, it shouldn't really matter, but it's good to keep in mind if you want to get any faster. Here I like to make sure the bat's not gonna hit me. I don't even want to get my run energy drained by the bat, although it's fine, you have plenty of extra stam. You really only need like 1 dose for Zuck. So you can I can basically use 3 of these doses during the waves if I want to. Just keep hitting stuff, make sure Rigger's on. Saving some prayer points is gonna make your life easier later on, so that's always good to think about. You just barrage the nibs. It's fine to be safe with the nibblers if you're just going for sub 65. Even if you're going for under sub 65, like sub 60 or even sub 55 rather, it's still fine. Ice Barrage and nibs is pretty cool. Saves you hassle later. And look, you'll see the nib was moving, so when things are moving, it takes them longer to die. But always want to kill the meleeer before other stuff if possible. Here I'm just going to flick the blob, start kiting the meleeer back, and a redivine. T-bow. You can T-bow a blob sometimes if it's at a distance. You're going to hit this nib. And Blood Barrage. Blood Barraging's good. Well, usually it's good. It's fine. Sometimes things just don't die. It all evens out though, usually. Waves are still pretty easy. I'm gonna kill the blob first, just make it a little easier. I'm gonna let these things drag down here just to be able to deal with them. Kinda just makes their life easier not having to run at them. Kill that, kill that. Technically kill order matters, but if you're just going for sub 65, it doesn't really matter too much. So you can kill the melee last here. You just don't want to drag it as it dies, it'll take extra ticks to die. Not good. 14 to 15, a little difficult. Not difficult, I would say, but just have to be careful. Just gonna keep killing, keep killing. Run at the blob. If you kill a blob at the same sides I'm killing them, they'll always stack up this way. That's why I'm doing them this way. There's certain tiles around the blob that you can hit them from, so I just know that directly in the middle of the north side is a good side. Just gonna kill this meleeer here. And in this situation, if you're tanking a blob and a melee, you can just pray melee for the most part. You'll usually be okay here. A single blob on its own really won't do you too much damage on average. You know, sometimes it will, but you know, gotta play for average. Don't have to do too much flicking. I'm just doing a little. Like if you do a little early on, it saves you having to do it in the later waves, which is always nice. Like 60s. If you see that, the mage mini blob is like the most often not to die, so it's a good one to assume isn't dead. Here we just kill the melees. You can send a blowpipe spec as well. Doing a little flicking just to make my life easier later. Always want to be potted and praying rigger. So it's another nib wave. Try to kill the rest with this. Should be dead, but if not, I'll get ready to blowpipe. And sip a stam, just make my life a little easy. Whoops. So here I want to change my quick barriers. I usually do this. And then once the mage waves come, I turn my quick barrier to mage. So these waves are pretty easy. The beginning ranger waves, you can kind of just stick near the middle because the ranger and the bats are both range. You want to be at the ranger waves about like 7 minutes, 7.5. I mean, I think anything under like, anything around 8 minutes or less is probably fine. What's this right here for a tick? You don't want to be sitting full spec because then your spec isn't getting any value from recharging, so try to make sure you're specking on cooldown a little bit. Or at least letting it recharge. If you're at anything where it's recharging is fine, really. Just getting that extra bit of DPS in. Just gonna save my north pillar a little, gonna make my life easier later. Kill these bats. I like to blowpipe spec the bats sometimes because they're kind of annoying. Don't like to drain my run. Just do a little flick in. This is Ranger Blob, so I kind of like to be near the middle for this. Because then if this happens, if they both see you on the same tick, then that's kind of nice. And also you'll notice I like to not flick when it's difficult to flick, and I like to flick when it's easy to flick, if that makes sense. I don't know if I said that right, but basically if it's convenient for me to flick, I like to flick so that when it's not convenient for me to flick, I can just ignore flicking for a little bit. Just makes it a lot easier. Here, I'll pick up the prayer pot. Just gonna kill this nib here. I'm gonna kill this nib here. Alright. Don't know what's going on. Just waiting for the blob to attack so I can see what's going on. Repot. Always be repotted. Kind of just messed up the flicking against the blob. Doesn't really matter on these early waves. Blood barrage because the HP isn't max. Didn't notice the ranger was still alive. Alright, we're good though. We're good. Gonna run over here. Back to the start tile. It's a pretty good call most of the time. Even if you can start in the middle, starting at the start tile is not too bad. Gonna over here. We do a little prayer flicking. No big deal. After this dies, we're gonna go on the other side. Want to miss as few ticks as possible. You see how once I saw the NPC turn red? That's the Tzhaar HP Tracker plugin, by the way. And it's really nice for this because you can see when they're gonna die, which kind of helps quite a lot. Here, my HP getting a little low. I'm gonna blood barrage the nibs. Can choose to do this once in a while. Just praying against the blobs. Here you can kill the blobs first. You don't want to kill the blobs first if it's the mage waves, but on the range waves it's kind of fine. Gonna send my spec. Don't know what I'm doing. You could kill this on the other side completely, like that's completely fine, but I'm just gonna kill it here. It's a little faster. These things are really not dying, huh? Turn off my prayer. You can walk here. I like to control click to walk if you have time. Sometimes you don't have time, but so here the melee has a very long death animation, so you can kill it first. Again, not a big deal for a sub 65, but just kind of good to know. So it's going to be a little faster if you choose to kill the melee first, and then the ranger, instead of the other way. These guys are pretty chill. I'm gonna kill this bat here. If you can, you want to kill stuff close to you. That was a mistake. Nothing too crazy going on yet. Just mostly flicking when I can. Return to the start tile. Get my prayer range on. One barrage in the nibs. Kill that. Keep killing stuff is the most important. Kill that, kill this. Start killing this. Send a spec. If you and the ranger are on the same tick with the blowpipe, you can do this, which is really nice. No prayer use, and it gives you rigor and range spray. If you're off tick with it, then it kind of doesn't work the same way. You have to either, well, I mean, I'll show if it happens. You either have to flick the 3 ticks, or you just flick all the ticks. Just flicking the blob here. Technically, if you're going for like wreck or something, it's better to kill the blob and then hit the ranger rather in between when it's dying. But for a sub 65, it does not matter. Oops, it's fine. Augury is good. Augury is good. That's rigor, but whatever. They're dead anyway. All right, get into a couple of semi-difficult ways. Just gonna play safe. Don't want to get drained by the bat. Good to learn to 2-tick alternate if you don't know how. It kind of makes everything a lot easier here in the Inferno. That's a good thing to learn if you don't know how to do it. I'm messing up the blob flicks, but it's never hitting me, which is power Missouri, I guess. Got 8 seconds on the Divine. Gonna put my mage gear on. Coming on this side, the blob always stacks them up nicely. It's good. Alright, gonna repot as always. Don't want to be unpotted. Kill bat. Kill bat. And then I'm gonna kill this and I'm gonna flick the... I think this is gonna come around actually. Yep. That's what I thought. A little sketchy. Not very clean. We're just gonna kill the blob. I don't really know why. I just kind of feel like it's screw you, blob. That's a mistake. If you're playing range, the ranger will see you on this side. This corner, like, it's like a anti-corner trap, or I don't even know what you call it, but you can see you around that corner. So just know that. Around this corner, it can't see you, and around this corner, it can't see you, but that corner, it can for some reason. I'm gonna just send a blood barrage, be safe. Okay, I'm gonna kill his melee here. Can send spec. I wouldn't send spec if I thought I was gonna take damage, but it seems like the rest of this way is gonna be pretty safe. Turn the corner, pray mage. Put our augury on. I guess I started at the beginning saying you shouldn't put augury on to save prayer, but I mean, I don't know. I guess augury is good. I'm just preparing for when they add the damage bonus to augury, that's all. So, in the future, this video will be accurate. Pray mage. Alright, 32, easy wave. It's range into melee. I want to start hitting something as soon as possible. And a lot of times hitting something as soon as possible will supersede using prayer points. Although, like, if possible, you want to save prayer points, but... See here, I'm camping prayer for a second just to kill it quick. And now here, it's easy to prayer flick, so I'm gonna prayer flick because it's easy. Double ranger, nice easy wave. Gonna start in the middle just to make it easy to get to wherever they are. Kill this nib. You can play safe with the nibs. People say you don't want to care about the nibs too much, but it's alright to play a bit safe. It doesn't really hurt your time too much. Really good pace here. You want to be, I would say, from getting to major, you want to probably be sub 20 or so if you're trying to sub 65. And getting a little lower, like, see, this is about maybe 1730 into major. It gives you a lot of leeway. This is like is like 56 pace or so, so that's a lot of leeway. And it gives you a lot more time on the late waves so that you can take them slow, because the late waves are the big challenge. I'm not doing amazing on prayer because I decided to take an extra brew, but that's totally fine. Still have plenty. Oops, I need to swap my quick prayer. Maybe you can just do this. There's a lot of different ways you can do this. I'll show you on one of these majors, I'll show you what I like to do, but it's gonna be hard to learn it if you're just starting out. But good to save some prayer. So I'm gonna walk back to the start tile. Here, sometimes, like in this situation, you're gonna have to kill the bat first. I just T-bowed it kind of stupidly, but whatever. Also, a lot of times you can just flick rigger, lazy flick rigger. I'm gonna take this node out. I like to flick them like this, but if you don't have any practice doing this, it's gonna be pretty hard. So that's what I like to do, but obviously you can just one-tick flick the whole time. It's a little harder, but it works. Here I'm just waiting for them to clump up, make it a little easier for me. Kill this bat. Actually, I think if I round the corner, I think the bat would be stuck behind the pillar, so I really didn't have to kill that, but it's kind of alright. I'm gonna just be conservative on my prayer, because taking one less prayer than I usually do. Shouldn't be a big deal, but it's gonna play safe. Alright, 19 into 38 is like very, very good. If you're anything close to this, you're definitely pacing. Make sure you redivine. 2-tick flicking. 2-tick flicking makes it very chill. Could just 1-tick, it's fine, but why not make it easier for yourself? Learn to 2-tick flick. Nice easy waves. Wait for the mage to attack, then pray range, so I can avoid the bat drain. Two-tick flick. If the bat respawns, I'm gonna pray range just to try to prevent the drain, because the mage takes a while to attack after it respawns. It's good if you don't get drained. If you get drained a little bit, it's kind of fine. You could even just not pop back up if you get drained, if your divine timer is very high. Not a big deal. Probably should stop praying augury on these, but it should be fine. Make sure you're praying mage. Here I'm gonna duck behind the pillar, praying range. Okay, it did this weird thing. I'm gonna pray mage here. I'll let the blob attack me one more time to be safe. I'm gonna start hitting the major. When you can, always hit the major first. I'm gonna take on the blob. I have blowpipe specs I could use. Probably use one on the bats. Make sure I'm praying rig. Oops. Make sure you're sipping your prayer pots, or restores rather. No one uses prayer pots. What am I talking about? Nice easy wave. We're like absolutely pacing. We got like 10 minutes to spare or something. It's good to have this leeway though, because if you have this leeway, then you don't have to worry on the harder waves. You can just take them, deal with them normally. Oops. Here I'm praying against the back blob. Not praying against that apparently. Keep sipping. Don't want to run out of prayer. Easy wave. Send spec, send both. Inflict these if you feel like it. More easy waves coming. 45 through 48 are a little difficult, but nothing crazy. Here I'm gonna wait for the mage to attack me and then click on this. Save the drain. Here you can go here. Melee can't actually hit you from 3 tiles south of the north pillar, but you can still hit this major here. There's a similar spot if the major is in this spot, the northwest corner. You can do the same thing on the west side of the pillar, 3 out from the west, and the melee will still be trapped. If the melee digs here, I can kind of just run towards the major or something. Yeah, I'll just run towards the major. That's annoying. So if the bat can hit you on the first possible tick, then you can pray against the bat twice, and then on the next tick the mage will hit you. It's just a little tip. I don't know if it'll help you, because it's a little hard to pull it off, and you don't want to risk taking the major hit, I guess, but if you feel confident, then absolutely good to do. Keep sipping prayer. Here we can actually just come to this side and hit the mage. Whoops, that's bad. It's unlucky they're same ticked. It's fine though. Just don't panic. If things are same ticked, like a lot of times you can just assume things are off ticked because it's kind of rare that they're not off ticked, but if you're unsure, then sometimes I just let it happen and hope that they are. And if they're not, you can kind of just fix it like I did. Just don't panic though. Panicking is the worst thing you can do. Here we'll send a barrage on this guy. Can do it from this tile right here. Here we'll just start hitting the major. I don't know what I'm doing. That sucks, I didn't want him to dig, but it's okay. Try to heal. It's pretty average. Plenty of brews if I need to use them, but I'd rather just barrage up this guy probably. And another. Alright, couple of semi-difficult waves. After the mage hits, I pray range to try not to get drained. Chance to drain there, but what can you do? It's gonna drag this melee down this way. Oops, have to move a little south. Keep hitting stuff. I like to kill this. Sometimes I like to kill this blob on this side, or I mean, it really doesn't matter which side you kill it on, but they line up either way. It's good. Alright, 47 to 48, slightly difficult waves, nothing crazy. Let the blob see me, then prayer range. I can kill this bat here. Mage around the corner. Also prays against the blob. You can just one tick flick here, I'm just saving clicks. Pray against the blob. Whoops. That's fine. Just gonna Wow, I'm not doing too hot killing this bat here. This is not great. It's fine. Should be good. Heal up off this. Kind of fine. Definitely didn't play too great there, but it's fine. Blood barrage. Blood barrage again. Let's kill this melee. Whoops. Clicking brain prey, not good. A lot of times you can kill a melee first because you'll have the DPS to kill this major, but sometimes it'll respawn, but it's not a huge deal. Good to run up to the blob here so you can kill all these in one go. And kill this over here just to save some HP. Something's alive. Now notice I only used one dose of stam this whole time so far. Oops, I gotta equip that. It's easy. Just start killing the major. "20 seconds on divine." Trying to stop these guys from digging. Alright, divine right now. Gonna redivine. Start these waves with Missouri on because you want to prevent the ranger from hitting you too much. Here I go this side, per range. Let him hit me one more time, round the corner. Now I can start killing the major first, which is what I want. Killing the major first is usually a good call. Sometimes you can't very easily if there's like a bat or a melee that's being a problem, but it's fine to kill those first if you have to. Not too worried about the nib because we kept our pillars so safe early that I can kind of just afford to, like, I don't even know what that pillar's at, but it's probably fine. Can go kill it now if we want to. Put our tank gear on. For range for the bat. It's annoying that it drained us, but it doesn't really matter. I'm not really sure why I did that, but it's fine. Whoops. A little less fine now. Got drained again, of course. Okay, we're just gonna chill for a second here. And this might be a good idea to brew, you know? This is pretend it's the first sub 65, you know, we're gonna brew, it's fine. Got plenty of brews, made a little oopsie, it happens. Here you off tick these like normal. That was a pretty bad wave, not gonna lie. But I guess this sort of things can happen when you're doing your first commentary, you know how it is. Still pacing, plenty of pace if you're on wave in the 50s, around 32 or so I would say. It's probably pretty good. Didn't want to do that. Yeah, let that go that way so now I can just hit the mage by itself. So let's look at our resources. We got plenty of restore. 8 should be enough. Just want to keep flicking when possible. Even just lazy flicking like this is often good enough. Doing a little this is good if you feel comfortable. Just takes a little bit of practice. I'm gonna start the 50 plus from this tile, as always. I'm gonna show you how to do a 0 brew Zuck, so unless you get unlucky with the healers it is, but most of the time it should be 0 brew. So you can pretty much use all your brews in the waves. I find 3 is really plenty, but you can obviously bring, you really should bring 4 if you're trying for your first time. Not really sure why I ran back there, but it's fine. Put our tank gear on. 54. Great range. Now here the best solution is just gonna be round the corner and off tick these two. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, then you probably should just keep trying until you do feel comfortable. Because a lot of times this is just the best solution to these kind of waves. Just being able to off tick stuff just makes your life that much easier. I don't even know what else I would do here, honestly. Kill the ranger first. Gonna kill the nib when I can. Gotta walk up here. Mage for the major. Redivine. Sip a prayer. It's good to sip prayers before the waves, just so you don't have to worry about doing it during the waves. Didn't mean to do that, but it works out. Meant to let the major drag in a little more so I didn't have to flick both of these, but that's okay. Just cost me a little more prayer. South pillar is very healthy, so that's a good thing. As long as your north pillar doesn't go down, that's really the most important. Or if you... I don't know how I just missed all those flicks, but we're just gonna pretend it didn't happen. You know what they say, if you're not punished, then you don't have to learn. That was a mistake. It's good though, nothing too bad. Couple little mistakes, but as long as you're still killing stuff, you're probably good. Wish these things would die. Okay, go back to start tile. Sip a prayer. Always sip prayer in between waves if you can, without wasting. Here I'm just gonna wait so I can kill the major. Gonna wait for one more blob hit. Around the corner. Just flick those like normal. Don't have to worry about that pillar, even if it goes down. We have 2 very healthy pillars left. Whoops. In fact, I'm gonna deal with all this stuff here. I'm gonna deal with the blobs first before I even touch the pillar. Keep hitting stuff when you can. Alright, we can clean this nib up. Fine. It's good. Can do this flicking if you feel like it. It's just gonna make your life easier if you flick when you can. You notice how you really don't flick at the beginning of the waves. Also, augury not really worth at the start of these waves, to be honest. You see I waited a little bit, it actually let me clump those up, which is nice. So mage range melee. the melee digs here, I can go one south of that marked tile that's north of me. And it'll actually corner trap it here, but I have to be kind of quick. I'm actually gonna let it dig, just to show. So it's a good little thing to help you. So, okay, there you go. So here, if you go to this tile right here, it traps it, but you have to be kind of quick. Killing it, make sure you're potted and praying. Saving a little bit of prey here. It's a little trick you can do if you, if you see this red outline here, you can just do that. Send a barrage, it might save you a little bit of health. Give a little health for free, that is. Okay, that was a little sketchy, but... Whoops, got drained. Here we can actually just hit the major. This is nice. The pillar might go down, but I'm a little drained right now, but only a minute on the divine, so I'll just redivine at the end of that timer, no big deal. Pray range, because the range is gonna come. Send a spec. You notice I'm like pretty much sending specs this whole entire run. It's just really nice to have the light bearer, to be honest. I do recommend that for sure. Just makes it a lot easier in my opinion. Go here, put our tank gear on, pray mage. Augury optional, but I would say you probably not do that just because it wastes a little bit of prayer. It doesn't really give you too much benefit, to be honest. Here you can do a solve like this. This is really nice. Don't have to wait for anything to happen, don't have to kill a bad thing first. You know, like you don't want to kill the melee first if you don't have to. Pillar's going down, but I do not care. It's wave 60. You can duck behind the pillar, make sure we divine. Nice heal from the blowpipe. So, don't really have to flick too much anymore, but I still will when I can, just so that I have more left over. Better to have more than you need. Here the melee and the range are automatically off tick if you're on this tile or the other tile. Whoops. Just ignore that. Didn't happen. Here we'll just round the corner and do this. So we got a couple more sort of difficult waves and then pretty much just the Jads and the Zuck. See what happens. I got like amazing pace right now. Send spec when you can. Sending as many blowpipe specs as I possibly can. Can pray augury because I'm plenty of prayer left. Here, put our stuff back on. Any prayer you can conserve. You see, the reason I have so much prayer left is because I conserved pretty well this whole time. So it's just making my life so much easier here on these harder waves because I can just use prayer and not worry about it. Very nice. Whoops. That didn't happen. You can hit stuff behind the melee like this. That's like the last possible tile. If I was one further, it would drag me in. Probably the mage alive, because that's the most likely. Sit prayer. Just kind of chill. I mean, I'll do a little flicking just to show. Plenty of time. Like, we have so much time banked here. We just don't want to die. Like, if you were at this point right now and it was your first sub 65, you just don't want to die. That's the only goal here. Plenty of prayer, plenty of brew, plenty of pot. Hold on. Let's see. I think I can do like... Oh yeah, I think I can do that actually. Hold on. Let's do this. That was a pretty cool solve. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever had that one before. Get here in time, makes it nice and easy. And now with this, if you have this behind the pillar, the blob on that side and the ranger major, you can actually come here and it'll drag the ranger down here, which is nice. You can come over to this side and just hit the major now. And anytime you can get the major alone's obviously nice because it just lets you one tick flick and save your prayer. Very good, very good. Let's click there. Sip of prayer. We can just leave our stat drained by 1, that's not a big deal. I got 63 coming. This is, I mean, if you want, you can pray augury. I don't think it's that worth it. Whoops. Sketchy. If the melee comes around, we can just go to that Calvino tile. The one I've been starting on 50 plus. That was a mistake. Making a lot of mistakes. Wow, just misclicking all over the place. That's okay. It's fine. I'm gonna blood barrage off of the bloblets here. Set my divine. Misclicking again. Full health. Sit prayer. 64, 65, pretty easy, but not free. What do we do here? We could kill the melee. That's a nice, safe, easy way. It's gonna be off-ticked. Just try to be hitting the major. And round this corner to deal with the melee. Sit prayer, plenty of prayer left, like literally so much actually. Need like maybe 2 for Zuck or something. I would say like 8 doses or so. Maybe like 2.5 pots or something. So I got plenty. Alright, this one, I mean, this is like the only wave where I maybe would pray augury actually, just because the 2 rangers could see you. But they don't. So here, this is very, very easy. Gonna pray range here. Around the corner, pray mage. And that's pretty much the waves done, so that's good. Hopefully that was somewhat instructive. I don't really know. I don't really know how much instructive value I gave there, but you know, hopefully it was decent. Around the corner, send blowpipe specs because we're full. No need to try to flick these really, and no need to. I mean, yeah, we have so much prayer. There's no need. And our pillars are like crazy. Like our north pillar took like no hits, which is nice. Okay, here, just gonna come to the middle, pray. I stand by the nib tile because the majors can't spawn here, and I know that, so I like to stand right by the nibs. We're gonna have to clean up the nibs after we kill these. You want to kill these as close to the same time as possible. I only use the T-bow. Some people whittle them down with the blowpipe. Like some people would hit the one that I just hit with the blowpipe, but I'm just gonna T-bow only. That's what I like to do. Sometimes it backfires, but usually it's pretty good. time here is like ridiculous. If you're like here, I would say like 55 minutes here would probably be fine. So I have like 8 minutes to spare, something like that. Hope this thing dies. Okay, nice and easy. This is the start tile I use for the Jad. It brings you one north of the northwest tile of Jad. Just makes the healers get trapped. Pretty nice. So this tile I use, you can also use the one on the south side of this, so like the opposite, like this spot, but on the opposite side, so on the south side. So one south of the southwest tile you could also use, but this one's a little tiny bit better. Just gonna do this. I'm too used to doing this, so I mean I probably should just blood barrage there, but whatever. So only one of these can hit me, which is really nice. Don't really have to worry too much. You can pray melee in between if you want. You really don't even have to, but it's nice to save HP. You can like blow pipe spec if you want here. Like that's what a lot of people do, but especially if you have light barrier. But sending a blood barrage is fine too. Keep looking at the next one. If you don't know how to do triples, then good luck. But pretty much just keep looking at the next animation. So it's range, mage. Just going slow. Here you want to just... You can just tag him with T-bow, but I'm just gonna be fancy. Because they were all clumped up, so it just makes it convenient. So much time left, like actually absurd amount of time left. I'm kind of feeling like I should have explained some more stuff because now I got like tons of time to spare. I'm gonna try to blow pipe spec here. Still got 3 brews for Zuck. Good old Zuckerberg. Keep prayer high. I've died to losing my prayer here, so don't be like me. It's gonna... If you go north or south here, it always ends up having only one attack use. That's a good thing to know for sure. You see how I just moved a tile or 2 south. Tag one of these. Move one south to isolate the healer. And I like those tiles to stand on these triples because you could stand on the north side, but it's a little harder to get there. Should be dead. Nope. Now it's dead. So here I want to just brew up a little bit. Don't have a lot of time. Kind of shouldn't be doing this so late, but it's okay. I think I had time. Yeah, so I guess you can get about 2 brew doses in there. 2 brew doses to restore Bastion. Always want to right click Zuck there on the cutscene. Good hits. That's sarcasm, obviously. So it's gonna be the range side when the set spawns. can send spec. I'm gonna send both. Tag the major. Now we're gonna take Jad under. I mean, not Jad, but gonna take Zuck under 600. Pretty bad DPS, honestly, but really doesn't matter. You're really never gonna see a second set unless you're missing a ton of ticks or you're just very, very unlucky. Like, you'd have to be like very, very unlucky or miss a lot of ticks. Like, it's pretty hard to get a second set. I mean, this is actually quite unlucky, to be fair. And that was a little bit of a tick loss there, but it's all good. We're at like 53. I could go AFK for like, you know, however long. This is good though, because like, you know, say like my 60s were really hard, then it would give me a lot of leeway to deal with those. Have plenty of time. Yeah, notice I only use one dose of stam for the waves. You can pretty much get away with that. So some people say bring 2 stams. I say it's probably not necessary without chins, but if it makes it easier for you, then by all means. Could ditch a brewer restore for it. We're just gonna kill this. Keep moving with the shield. I mean, if you're watching this and trying to sub 65, you probably know how to do this, but do a little Jad killing. Free pot right there, a little cheeky Brutos in between. And now we gotta proc the healers. Make sure stuff is good. Good health, good prayer. Got both specs back. That's why Lightbearer is really good as well. Just spam the blowpipe specs. Now when the healers spawn, I want to wait to use the blowpipe specs till they do a little bit of damage. I'm just gonna wait here and be safe. Try to kill it on the next corner. Or proc it rather. So I'm gonna wait for the healers to hit me a little bit and then send some blowpipes. One more hit and then I'll probably do it on the next side if not. Looks like next side it is. It's fine, plenty of time. Not a big deal. Start hitting it right around now. One more hit probably. One more hit probably. There we go. I want to tag these as fast as possible. And a spec. And a spec. Specs are average. I don't know what my blowfish specs are, bro. Oh jeez. Wow, this is misclick city, misclick city, misclick city. Don't do this. Bad example, bad example. It's fine though. It's kind of awful, not gonna lie. These clicks are kind of awful. But it all works out in the end. Yeah, so that's... Yeah, it was a horrible healers. I also hit both 0 on blowpipe specs. That's kind of not very lucky. Don't want to throw here. Just be careful. Play safe. Nice. 8 minutes to spare. That's pretty good. So yeah, I had 3 doses of brew, but I mean normally I take in 3, so that's kind of not a good sign for me, but you know, you should technically be alright if you brought 4 in. then had one restore left over. And obviously, I didn't take in the Falador shield, so if you had that, you'd have a little left over as well. But yeah, I mean, that's it for this, I guess. I don't know what this was, but just felt like I'd see if I could help anyone that was struggling with this. So thanks for watching, I guess. Goodbye, YouTube. See you later.